Yahushai wait, come to take the throne, to conquer world powers, bring Jacob home. I'm quarterbacking like Jake DeLome, like Mount Rushmore, I gotta face a stone.
First and foremost, I want to say, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, man.
That's right.
And what I want to go into today is what is being in the truth. Because changing your name to freaking whatever Ben Israel or putting your pa in front of your name and is not being in the truth. Just knowing you're an Israelite is not being in the truth. Being in the truth is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Being in the truth is not being a son of Balaam. Being in the truth is actually doing what the Most High God is saying. Matter of fact, knowing that you're an Israelite knowing that you're an Israelite is a small portion of it, but the main meat and potatoes of it is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because some Christians even say, "Oh, I believe I'm an Israelite," and that could be true, but they teach against the law, statutes, and commandments. They damn near teach against Christ. They teach against even what Paul says. They teach against the Bible in general, which is the opposite, which is literally just being in falsehood, being in lies, which is not the truth. So let's see what the truth is according to the Bible. Go ahead and get that.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law.
Thy what?
Thy law.
Thy law, the Torah, yeah,
is the truth.
Is the truth. The law, statutes, and commandments is the truth. That's the truth. Nothing else. If you're not keeping these law, statutes, and commandments, you're not in the truth. That's what people don't understand. It's too many yapas out there. I don't want to say, just put another one because I know people might get offended. There's too many yapas out there. There's too many whatever your name Ben Yisraels out there. And then you look at their stories, you look at their statuses, you see nothing but niggas smoking weed. You see niggas posting stuff about freaking random niggadries, talking about everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You just see it. It's not reflective of somebody who has a truth mind state. Because if you had a truth mind state, your lives will be orchestrated by the law, statutes, and commandments. All your thoughts will be in subjection to the law, statutes, and commandments. Give me that verse to bring the thoughts into subjection of Christ. You know what I'm talking about?
That's 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, give me that 2 Corinthians. Hold that though. Just go to it.
No, I can pull it.
Okay. But read that again.
Psalms 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me.
Now, during this time, David was getting into it with people, man. He didn't have rest from his enemies. He was in tribulation, just like how we're in tribulation now. It's like if somebody a police officer stick his neck on top of your stick his knee on top of your neck until you die while you're begging for your life in front of other people, and they don't have nothing to do. They have nothing that they can do against him, because if our people try to save him, what'll happen? They get shot. They get maced. Something would happen to him, man. Hold what you got. Hold what you got. Give me Deuteronomy 28.
64.
No, that I do want that. I do want that. Give me that.
This is to like not 60.
No, hold up. Don't get 66. Get where it says there should be no might in the hand. What was that, 30? It should go into.
That should show the wife.
No, 30. So that should go in. We're 32. Go ahead with that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32.
Yeah.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people. Thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them.
So the sons and daughters will go into what? Captivity. And your eyes should look and fail from them. Why?
Longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
There should be no might in our hand. Why? Because we can't save ourselves out of this physically. This captivity we can't save ourselves physically, man. There's nowhere you can run. There's nowhere you can hide. If you go anywhere in the world, the curses follow you. There's going to be no might in your hand to save you. That's why when our people were seeing our brother on the ground with the police officer's knee in his neck, they couldn't do nothing about it. When they try to get up closer, they start pulling out their guns. You see them Moab, You see, Moab was ready to get somebody, bro. Ready to get somebody. There's no might in our hands to save us out of this captivity. Why? Because we're subject to the curses, which is a result of not being in the truth. That's how this all comes full circle. Now get 66. Because as a result of there not being any might in our hands to save us out of this captivity, our life shall what? Go ahead and read that.
I'm going to start at verse 65. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Read that part again.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
Among these nations shalt thou find no ease. No matter where we go, we're not going to find any ease. Whether we go to Japan, or we go to Israel, or we go to Europe, or we go to Asia, or we go to Russia, there's not going to be no ease. And if you look at it on another scale, look, it wasn't just Esau oppressing our people at that time period when our brother had his neck being trampled upon. There was Moab there, right beside him, buddy with him, showing you no ease, just like how Esau wasn't showing you no ease. It's the same thing. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
Just like how we was in there, just like how our people in front of the camera behind the camera was like, dang man, you really gonna do that? He said, I ain't about to let you do that. As soon as they start walking a little bit closer, that's when the guns start coming out. That's when they start threatening to attack people. When you're murdering somebody, you're sitting there murdering somebody. Literally. You have somebody already arrested on the ground with his handcuffs. You telling me there's nothing in your training that could help you keep somebody on the ground without having to stamp on their neck till they die? What kind of coward is that, bro? And why are we in that situation? Why are we in this situation? Why do you only see one particular people in this situation? Because we, the Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, are the Israelites, and we choose to forsake the truth, just like our forefathers have done. Let me get this verse, bro. Let me get this verse. Just like our forefathers have done. Let me see. Let me read this. This is Acts chapter 7, verse 51. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you do always resist the Holy Ghost, as your fathers did, so do ye. So we resist the Holy Ghost because what does the Holy Ghost do? He comes upon his spirit is put upon men so they can prophesy. Just like how it came upon Moses to write the law, statutes, commandments. Just like how it came upon the prophets to prophesy to us. We resist the Holy Ghost just like our fathers did, just like back then. That's why we're in captivity to this day. I'm gonna keep going. It says, "And as your fathers did, so do ye. Which of your fathers have not which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them which shone before the coming of the just one, which is Christ, of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law." What's the law? Go back to Psalms real fast. "Have received the law by the dispensation of angels and not kept it." You have forsaken the truth. And you wonder why Esau rules over you. You wonder why Esau rules over you in your own land. Even in how you have Damona. Who's in control of that? Esau, bro. The Amalekites. They rule over you in your own land. Go ahead and get that.
Psalms 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The law is the truth. You've rejected the truth, Jake. You've rejected it. So what happens? We go into captivity. We get killed. We get put in hell. What is hell? The grave. A very terrible and evil position. Exile. Being without the Most High God. That's hell. That's America. That's wherever you go, because the curses will come upon you. Keep going on Psalms. You didn't want?
There's more.
Verse 143. Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delights. The righteousness of my testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live.
Give me understanding, and thou shalt live. We get understanding from the law, statutes, and commandments. Through that understanding, we know how to walk. We know how to be circumspect in our life. We know how to do things like how the Most High God intended us to do things. We're not. That's why when you see people who come into the truth and stay steadfast in it, even their enemies are at peace with them. For the most part, man, because you're doing what the Most High God says to do. So He puts a hedge around you, so you can be saved. So you have understanding how to walk around, man. Because our people have no understanding. They don't filter their mind. They don't filter their thoughts into the subjection of Christ. They don't filter their thoughts into the subjection of the law. Go ahead and get that.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 5. I'm going to start over verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God.
And every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, which is basically the whole image of the beast. America, that whole Americanized mindset. Even when you have our brothers, like how you said in Demona, as soon as they start mingling with Esau, what happens?
Everything's corrupt.
Everything's corrupted. Once we start mingling ourselves to the commoners or the bases of people, we become base. So we have to bring every subjection into what? Every thought into subjection to what? Go ahead.
Against it says, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
Bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. That's filtering your brain, filtering your thoughts, filtering your movement to how you just exist on this earth through Christ and through the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Which is really one and the same because He's the Word made flesh. So we have to filter our thoughts through that. That's what being in the truth is. Not changing your name on Facebook. Not putting a couple of fringes on your shirt and then committing adultery. Not putting a couple of fringes on your shirt and still eating pork. Not putting fringes on your shirt. Putting fringes in your shirt and then putting usury on your brother, man. The only thing that makes you in this truth is you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. The one thing the Most High God told us to do. And it says, go back to Psalms 119, verse 144.
Come.
Read that.
The righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. And I got to
give me understanding, and I shall live. If you have the understanding, through the law, statutes, and commandments, you would know Yahweh Shai is Hamashiach. You would know that He is the Christ, who y'all ignorantly call Jesus. That is the actual Savior who came to die for us, and the Savior we should listen to, because it's evidently proven in the law, statutes, and commandments. Deuteronomy 18, verse 18. Matter of fact, get your precept first.
I got a few. But I'm going to just go ahead. Write it. Psalms 119, I'm going to start at 97. Oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day. Though through thy commandments has made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts.
We understand more than the ancients because we do what?
Keep thy precepts.
Because we keep the precepts. You can even show that on a micro level scale, right? Our parents doesn't know the commandments. And guess what happened? Guess what happened now? We're wiser than them. Our teachers in the church don't keep the commandments. Now we got more breakdowns than them.
That's right.
Our enemies are at peace with us for the most part because we operate in a way to where they can't get on us like that, man. Why? Because we keep the precepts. We're in this truth. And in that, we recognize who Christ is. Going back to what I said before. We recognize who the actual Mashiach is. And go ahead and get that.
Deuteronomy 18 and 18. And real quick, I'm going to read this in the NET version. It says, I will raise up a prophet like you for them from among their fellow Israelites.
From their fellow what?
Their fellow Israelites.
Fellow Israelites. If we believe we're Israelites, this prophet's going to come just like us. That's also a cut on the virgin birth. Because the virgin birth, you don't see, if Christ is supposed to fulfill this, just like how Peter says, I believe it's Acts chapter 2, verse 3. If Peter says Christ fulfills this, and Christ came through a virgin birth, that doesn't make any sense, because not all of us came through sex. All of us came through actual sexual relations, man.
Like Moses.
Like Moses did. So that's a cut on virgin birth, man. Go ahead.
I will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak to them whatever I command.
Keep going.
You going?
Yeah.
All right, back to the King James Version. Verse 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
So if you don't listen to this prophet, which is Christ, and which he speaks in the Most High God's name, the Most High God's going to require it. So what does that mean? That means Christ is law. The words he says is law. The things he says is law, statutes, and commandments on top of the Torah. Which really all he did was make it stricter. If you look at it, he was really teaching the spirit behind the words of he was really teaching the spirit behind which was written in the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why Paul even talks about the spirit versus the letter. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't really giving nothing specifically new. He was just like radicalizing the law, statutes, and commandments. Now give me Matthew chapter 16, verse 24. Give me Matthew 23, verse 25. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
So if anybody's going to come and actually be a follower of Christ and actually do what he says, you have to do what to yourself?
Let him deny himself.
You have to deny yourself. What does deny yourself mean? Cast off the worldly man. Give me Colossians 3 verse 5.
That was Matthew what?
16 and 24.
Colossians 3 verse 5. You got to dead that old man. You have to cast off the world. You got to cast off birthdays. You got to cast off Christmas. You got to cast off Easter. You got to cast off Mother's Day, Father's Day. They all go back to paganism. This was never our culture, man. What you looking for? You got to there's one y'all said, can you toss him a pen real fast?
I got one.
Oh, you got that one.
Hold on.
What to say?
Yeah, go ahead and get that. Because it's going into what I'm talking about.
It says, let me get this in the NLT real quick. It says in Colossians 3 and 5, so put to death the sinful earthly things lurking within you.
We have to do what?
Put to death the sinful earthly things lurking within you.
We have to put to death the sinful things that are lurking in us. That's why you have to. This is really why you got to read the book anyway. Because if you don't read the book and you don't read the Torah, the law, statutes, and commandments, you'll never be able to put off the sinful man. Because what is sin? Give me sin. Oh, what you got? Give me sin. 1 John 3 verse 4.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is, go back to where you was before. Sin is the transgression of the law, statutes, and commandments. So if you're a Christian, you could never cut off the old man. You could never do that. Why? Because y'all negate more than half of the Bible, which they call the Old Testament. If you negate all of this, you miss out on the law, statutes, and commandments. You miss out on the prophets. That's why you don't understand Christ's mission. That's why you don't understand who Christ died for. That's why you don't have understanding, because you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And what did David say when he kept the law, statutes, and commandments? Give me understanding.
You see?
That's why Christians don't understand nothing. But to the point, they can't. If you are a person who believes, oh, we don't got to worry about the Old Testament, you can never cast off the old man because you don't know how to filter it. And the only way you get the instruction on how to filter it, or that foundation, is by the law, statutes, and commandments. Now go ahead and read that again.
Okay. So put to death the sinful earthly things lurking within you. Have nothing to do with sexual immorality, impurity, lust, and evil desires.
Yeah.
Don't be greedy, for a greedy person is an idolater, worshiping the things of this world.
And worshiping the what?
The things of this world.
Worshiping the things of this world. You can go into birthdays. All the holidays, bro. What's a birthday? You're worshiping yourself. What's Mother's Day? Worshiping your mother. What's Father's Day? You're worshiping your father, man.
Not the right one either.
not the right one. Easter, worshiping pagan gods, man. Every holiday that they have, that the world tells you is okay, what the church tells you is okay, is against the Bible. So when you worship these things, even if you think it's a small, minute thing, and it doesn't matter, you're still worshiping the things of this world. You become an idolater, which is a capital sin, which is worthy of death. Now go back to that.
Matthew?
Yeah.
Matthew 16, verse 24. Thus said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Now I said take up his cross, right? Take up his cross. Now what did Christ do when he took up his cross? He made himself a sacrifice. Give me Romans 12:1. He made himself a sacrifice. So now we have to take up our cross and take up our cross. We have to take up our cross and make up ourselves a living sacrifice. It's like how Christ made himself a sacrifice for the church, the actual church, the Israelites. Now go ahead and get that in Romans chapter 12.
This is Romans 12:1, the KJV. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice.
Do what?
Present your bodies a living sacrifice.
We have to present our bodies a living sacrifice. Sacrifices can have blemishes in it. So we have to do what? Press towards the mark of the high calling of God. We have to make ourselves that blameless sacrifice by showing ourselves acceptable to the Most High God by putting off the old man. Keep going.
Holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
Which is your reasonable service. That's what you should have been doing in the beginning. It's our reasonable service. The one job the Most High God told you to do. That's your reasonable service. Doing that. Which is really being in the truth. What's up?
Khan. It says in the NLT version, this is truly the way to worship him.
Exactly. This is truly the way to worship him. Changing and being that living sacrifice. Go back to that.
Matthew 16 and verse 20. You want 25?
Read over here.
Verse 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
He shall save his life, shall lose it. What does it mean, saving your life? Saving your life is trying to make it in America. Trying to make it in the world. Trying to be that nigga, man. Trying to be that nigga in the club every damn weekend. Trying to be that same person trying to get over on our women, pop them and leave them. Trying to be that same person who's trying to get over on your brother. That same person who's fixated on money. The same person who's fixated on just having a good time for themselves and want everybody else to just do that and have nothing productive in their lives. That's trying to find your life in America.
That's right.
That's trying to find your life in the world. That's you trying to save your life because you want to save your life in Babylon the Great. The place is not our rest. The place you get shot by the cops. It would seem like every damn day now. Yes, you trying to make it there.
Every 28 hours.
Every 28 hours, man. It seems like it's less than that now.
Is it?
But if you find that life, you shall lose it. Go ahead.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
That's what being born again. Because you cast off the old person and now you're born again. You're losing your life for the Most High God. To do what he, not just, that's like, because we always jump to the parts where it says where it's about being born again, but it says shall lose your life. Losing your life, if you lose your life for him, that's you casting off your old man, your old life. Like how you see in Romans chapter 6. Like how you see in Colossians the 3rd chapter. Like how you see in John, where at John, what is that, 1 and I believe it's 4:13. Matter of fact, get that. John 1 and 13, I want to make sure.
It's 1 and 14.
It's 1 and 14? That's how before you read that.
Yeah. This is the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the holy begotten of the Father.
No, it's 13. It's 13.
13?
It's 13.
Salah, verse 13. Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God.
But of God. Being born again. You see the whole thing about being born again, various parts throughout the Bible, man. And it's always a similitude of what? Baptism. Washing yourselves. Hold up, get that real fast. Go back to Matthew, where you was at. hold it, and now go to Jeremiah 4 verse 14.
Washing it.
It's always a similitude of washing yourself, like you're just dirty. The old man is dirty. It's dirty. That's why you have a similitude to people calling people dirty. Cause that dirty nigga, man, freaking grimy dude, man.
Joe dirt ass.
Yes, that's how it is. Go ahead and get that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4, verse 14. O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness.
Wash your heart from what?
From wickedness.
Wash your heart from wickedness. Where do we see that at? The baptism of repentance. It's always a similitude to water, man. This whole being born again and the baptism existed before what they call the New Testament. Our people just weren't wise enough to understand it.
It's Jeremiah what?
4
and 14. Get Isaiah 1 and 16.
You want me to finish that up?
There's more. Yeah, go ahead.
O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved.
That thou mayest be what?
Be saved.
That you may be saved, man. We need to wash ourselves that we may be saved. Don't we talk about the salvation coming through the baptism in the New Testament? It's the same thing. The notion that Christ and Paul and all of them just gave just new stuff is just unfounded, man. If you actually read the Bible, it's there in some form or fashion, just worded differently. That's why it says in Ecclesiastes what has been as always. Let me get that. Get Ecclesiastes. You get Ecclesiastes. You own like too many precepts. Ecclesiastes 1.
That's that nothing goes under the sun.
Okay. Yeah, nothing new under the sun, man.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9 in the KJV. It says, the thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun. It's existed in some way, some form or fashion, man. That's how it is. That's how the Most High God is. He's been telling the same story this whole time. Even with Adam and Eve, same thing. Just like how we left our first estate, Adam and Eve left their first estate by transgression.
Harder than that with the angels when he cast them out of heaven.
Well, that's different.
I mean, but it's the same thing. It's been happening.
That's a whole nother lesson.
That's a whole nother lesson. That's something different, though. That's something different. That's something different. That's a whole nother lesson.
It started there, man.
Hey, man.
Well, that's another lesson. That's another lesson.
Okay.
Let me finish that in Jeremiah. Jeremiah 4:14.
Yeah.
O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved. You wicked niggas don't want to stop being wicked. How long shall thy vain thoughts, being a worldly nigga, lodge within thee?
How long shall these thoughts lodge within you? To keep you from what? Salvation. How long are you going to be like, it mentions like, how long are you going to be like this? Because I've been wanting to save you. I just want like, how long are you going to be like this? I can't save you unless you change.
That part.
Let's get tired of doing this, man.
Yeah, man.
At some point, you got to do it.
Come on, man. Like, how long is it going to be?
Let me see.
So what did I tell you guys, Ed?
Isaiah 1 and 16. You got it?
I got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 16. Wash you, make you clean, till I put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil.
Cease to do evil. Wash yourself. The baptism has always been here, man. That's just the key point I want to make. It's always been here. Our people just have chosen to be dirty and chosen to be grimy and chosen to let their sins lodge within themselves. It's just madness, bro. We'll go back to Matthew.
Honestly, it just dawned on me. Jake has always had a perpetual issue with wanting to be someone else other than who they are.
Yep.
Like even when you're reading the book of Samuel, early on, I believe it's just like within the first few chapters, freaking Israel, they're complaining and how they wanted to set a king over them when Yahweh was supposed to be the king over us. But we wanted to be just like every other nation and have an actual king sit at a throne instead of having the Most High and our judges. Yeah. And then what did Samuel say by decree of the Most High? You disobey God, you're gonna get it along with your king. And what has happened?
We got it along with our king, just like how our kings went in captivity right along with us.
There you go.
And the Most High, like knowing that, that's why you got to think that's probably why He gave us that commandment to walk in His ways.
Exactly.
He knows we trying to seek out or seek to be
just like everyone else,
someone else that other than ourselves. So He gave us a standard. Like, okay, seek after my ways.
That also shows why Israel is the way that they is. Like Shatar's mentioned earlier, when you actually sit down and you read this book, it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over. That's why a lot of this is repeated. Because Israel, you hard-headed as hell.
That's why we got Deuteronomy.
That's why we got Deuteronomy, second law. You got to keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. One of these days, it's going to be a fresh haircut and a hand filled with alcohol to the back of your neck for you to listen, man.
Where was that though?
Matthew 16? God, this is the book of Matthew 16 and 24. Then said Yahweh Shai unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him...
What was the last verse we read on that?
25.
Go ahead, read 25.
God, verse 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
If he gain the whole world and lose his whole soul. That's how people do that. Like, what is it going to profit you? Let's just say, what if you amassed all this money, you amassed all this street credit, you amassed all this women, you amassed all this houses, you amassed all that. But what happens if you do all that and get destroyed in the second death? What was the point of all that? It's going to get melted. Your money's going to get melted. The woman's going to die. You're going to die. Kids probably going to die. That's the only thing that's going to happen. You're going to get put to death. You've done all this for nothing. You lived your life for vanity. And you're gonna reap reward behind it. Go ahead.
It says in 2 Corinthians 5 and 10, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he had done, whether it be good or bad. So after you done, accumulated all this worldly wealth, and you got all this status. Say you die right after that happens, your spirit goes up. You're not gonna get judged according to that wealth you have. Not in the respect of a person.
Respect their persons. You're gonna get God.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me that Matthew.
Okay. This is Matthew chapter 23, verse 25. I'm gonna get this in the NET. It says, "Woe to you, experts in the law, and you Pharisees,
It's going to scribes and the Pharisees.
Hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence."
Now, when you get people who come into this truth, because we're still talking about a truth mindset, we have our people who come into this truth and the law, statutes, and commandments, and knowing that they're Israelite. What they end up doing is when they're around people, they look like they're holy. And we've all met these people, man. They look like they're holy. They look like they're actually set apart and actually doing what the Most High God does. But behind closed doors, they're wicked. And then they'll catch a report behind somebody and you're like, dang, I thought that person was solid. But he said he was doing this. He was doing that. We've seen that in Israel. We've seen that with higher ranking people in Israel, man. Committing adultery. Stealing from people. Extorting people. That happens. We're not supposed to be hypocrites. If you're about this truth and you spend time being on the streets, you can't be a damn hypocrite, man.
That's right.
Because what will end up happening is the Most High God will have you exposed on a grand scale. You're not about to sit there and throw his jersey on and try to represent for his team, but behind closed doors, you're breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, man. You're not about to do that. Because the Most High God is going to have you be exposed. It's crazy. Because I'm saying that I can think of like 3 different people, higher up ranking Israelites, who got exposed for doing things that they just have no business doing. You're not about to play for the Most High God's team and then play for the Satan side too. Because if you do that, you're going to get exposed and it's going to be bad for you. You're going to taste that second death. We cannot be hypocrites in this truth. If we say we love the Most High God, if we say we want to keep His commandments, we need to keep His commandments. We need to not be hypocrites. And everything. That's why give me 2 Corinthians 13 verse 5. Stay where you at. Because we're going to keep reading on that.
This is 2 Corinthians. I flip right to it. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Except ye be what?
Reprobates.
So you need to prove your own selves. You need to prove to yourself that you're actually in this truth. You need to prove that did I keep the law, statutes, and commandments today? Am I a reprobate? Because I say I've been out here in the streets teaching forever, but I still just can't keep these commandments. I'm probably a reprobate, man. You need to prove to yourselves every single day that you're about this truth. Did I do what I preach on the streets? Did I do what I tell people about? Am I actually keeping the commandments like the Israelite I say I am? You need to examine yourself every single day. Am I doing right, bro? Hold on. Are you doing right? Because our people don't do that, man. Because like you have people come in this truth, automatically think they know everything, and just get rebuked, and then they just can't take it. And you know why? Because you can't examine your own damn self, man.
Look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror.
Like Mike said.
Oh, it was a scripture on that one. It was like basically if you can't look in the mirror, no, if you can look in the mirror and just walk right away.
You talking about James?
Yeah.
Get James.
That was good.
James.
I think it's James 1 and 22, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's James 1.
Be ye doers of the word, not hearers only.
Yeah, right.
God. This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 22. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only.
Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Don't just hear the word. Don't just throw on a video about doing right, and then as soon as the video's off, now you're in the next room twerking. Now you're in the you trying to re-up on some dro. You trying to freaking get the next 8 ball. You're trying to steal from your brother. Don't just put a video on and just be wickedness and be like, the Most High God knows my heart. Because then if you're doing that, what are you being? You're being a Christian. And what's going to happen to these Christians? You're going to get put to death, man. Because you don't do what the Bible says. You don't do what your Lord and Savior does. You don't do what Yahweh says. You don't do what you don't have no relationship with the Bible just in general. So in general, you're going to get put to death. And that's what's going to happen because you deserve that. Because what's really worse is that you hear these laws, statutes, and commandments. You hear you're an Israelite, and you hear you have to keep them. And not that many people, like, in the grand scheme of things, not everybody's going to hear about this. You have the opportunity, you are given the golden ticket, and you're choosing to cut it up and throw it away. How much worse of a punishment that is, man? Like it says in Hebrews chapter 10. How much sorer of a punishment that is. That you found out about this truth, you know Christ died for you, your people, and that's it, and you want to spit on that, man.
And I know his precept is going right into it. 22. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
He said, "Bam! I forgot. I look in the mirror and then turn around. And what do I look like?"
And then verse 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer.
Not a what?
Not a forgetful hearer.
And that's the thing, bro. That's what Jake likes to do. They'd be forgetful hearers. It's like they're like, I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna take the notes. I'm just gonna listen to it." Our people just listen to it, and then walk away from the conversation or walk away from the video and don't take anything from it. Don't apply anything from it.
We are unto them as a loving song.
As a loving song. Huh? They don't. It sounds good. Yeah, everything. Yeah, we're the Israelites. We're gonna rule. All I gotta do is do this.
Watch the whole video.
Watch the whole video.
Like everything.
Press like, close it. All right, y'all. Let's go in. You said you about to go fight. Let me go. Right after that, bro. They smoking weed while they watch the videos, bro.
Man,
that's fine. You can't. You have to examine yourself in this truth, bro. You have to literally, like think about everything you do. Bring every thought into captivity of Yahweh Shai, bro.
that's right.
Everything has like, it's like people say, what would Jesus do? But what would Yahweh Shai do, man? What would Yahweh Shai do? Because he kept the law, statutes, and commandments. He's supposed to be in our example. He kept the law, statutes, and commandments in every chance he got. So what do we need to do? If we want to say we're followers of Christ, keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Just like it said, if you have an ear, then hear and do my commandments.
Exactly. Simple, bro.
You want this right here?
There's a little bit more on this stuff.
Okay, yeah, I want that.
He being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
This man shall be blessed in his deed, man.
That's all the way to where? To 25?
25.
You should be blessed in your deed if you do the word, really. Do the work, Jake. And what's a part of that? Going out in the streets. Cause that's a whole nother topic. But the thing about it is, we have to do what the Most High God says to do. We can't be hypocrites. We can't just change your name to your pa and then turn around and start laying with all the brothers, bro. That's what I want them to do. We can't call our name Yisrael and then start just popping all the girls and just freaking one night standing all the Israelite women for bringing a bad name up into the truth. I'm like, dang, man, I got this from Christians. What makes y'all different than the Christians?
You see?
We can't just do that, man. We have to operate in a truth mind state. If you have sex with a woman, that's your wife. Exodus chapter 22. We have to apply the law, statutes, and commandments. We can't just do each other bad, bro. Christ's main mission, when you see him on there, like when he was teaching, he just treat your brothers good, man. Like you can just tell. Even in Matthew, was it Matthew 5 all the way to like 7? He's like, blessed if you do this, blessed if you do this, blessed if you do this. And the majority of that is treating your brother good, loving your neighbor.
As I said.
He emphasized loving your neighbor multiple times in the Gospels, bro. That's what we need to do. Give me that Matthew 22. Why have I not brought that out? Give me the 2 greatest commandments, man.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, and I'm going to start at verse 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yahweh Shai said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
We should love our God, Yahweh, with all our heart and all our soul. That's going into being the truth. Because how do you do that? 1 John 5 verse 3 says, the love of the Lord, the love of God is keeping the commandments. Keeping the commandments is the truth. Keep going.
And with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second.
Because first, before you can even love your people, you got to love the Most High God. First and foremost. You can't just love your people when you don't love the Most High God. That's why you have chematology. That's why you have niggas being freaking not Arabs in Islam. That don't teach all that. It don't teach all that at all. It's do whatever you. It's basically Christianity, but with Arabic twist in it, an African twist with the chematology. It don't teach you to love the Lord. It don't teach you to really even love your people, because the same people doing that, the same people making businesses, getting over on other Israelites. Like damn, what's his name? Why I forget his name? Did we he said the black woman's God?
Oh, Polite?
Like Polite, man. That nigga robbing black women out of their own money, bro. But the woman is God. Why you robbing God, Polite? There he goes. Goddamn nigga, man.
Bring that.
You nigga, you robbing God. You said a black woman's God, but you robbing them, bro. Why? Because there's no moral code in the damn chematology. There's no moral code that the Muslims really even keep. I had a Muslim friend who used to just eat pepperoni all the time, bro. Y'all niggas don't keep nothing. Y'all don't keep doing stuff that y'all say y'all believe in. Just like how Christians are. There's no reciprocity, or there's nothing enforcing you to keep these law, statute, commandments. With the law, statute, I'm talking about for them and their law, statute, commandments. But for us, if you transgress these law, statute, commandments, there's a penalty.
That part.
There's reciprocity in us, man. What you got?
I was gonna say the word you're looking for. There's no consequences for them not doing what their laws state. There's no real.
There's no real consequence. So why do anything different? Why not get over on your brother? There ain't nothing stopping you. Why not put usury on him? Why not put interest on my brother? Why not steal from him? Who gonna stop me, man? It's madness, bro. But you can't come to that first before you actually love your God. First. What's the next one?
Verse 39. The second is like unto it.
It's just like unto it. Why?
thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Love your own people, because your neighbor is your brother, your Israelite, your fellow Israelite. Even Christ was talking to Israelites when he said this. As much as Christians want to twist it, oh, everybody was there. No, he was talking to Israelites, and even in the law, it's talking about Israelites there. If you read in other translations. Mm-hmm. Now the thing about it is, we have to love our neighbor. Give me 2 John 6. What is love? 2 John 6. What is love? How does the Bible define what love is, man? 2 John 6.
Come on. This is the book of Second John and verse 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments.
Yeah.
This is the commandment that as ye have heard from the beginning.
From the what?
From the beginning.
Where did you hear that from? Leviticus 19 verse 17. Loving your brother. This is in direct reference to Leviticus 19 verse 17. This is love, that you keep the commandments, that you don't sin or trespass against your brother. That's what love is, man. That's what actual love is. That I won't steal your wife, that I won't steal from you, that I won't bring idols to your house, or I won't try to get you to commit idolatry. I won't force you to eat pork. I won't trick you into eating pork. I won't sin against you just in general. Why? Because I love you. That's what love is, man.
So Romans 13.
What's that?
Romans 13 and Romans 13 and 9, verse 9. Mm-hmm. In the NLT it says, for the commandments say you must not commit adultery, you must not murder, you must not steal, you must not covet. These and other such commandments are summed up in this one commandment: love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm. Give me 2 John. Not 2 John. James chapter 2 verse 8.
I'll read this real quick. Love does no wrong to others, so love fulfills the requirements of God's law.
Why? Because love is keeping God's law.
That part.
You won't sin against your brother. Go ahead and get James 2 8.
This is the book of James chapter 2 verse 8.
I've been wanting to bring this out on the Christian too. It's just for a while.
If ye fulfill the royal law.
That's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments. If you fulfill the law, they say, oh, Christ died, he fulfilled the law. Wait a minute. It says I can fulfill the law. You see that? I've been wanting to hit him with that for the longest. So read it again.
If ye fulfill the royal law according to the scripture, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, ye do well.
You do well. Why? Because if you keep the law, statutes, and commandments, or the royal law, that's showing love towards your neighbor. Mm-hmm. Verbatim, man. Just not sin against your neighbor. So that goes back into what we're talking about being a hypocrite. Because you'll have brothers out there, they'll teach whole lessons, and then they'll hate their brother. They'll teach whole lessons, and they'll sin against their brother. We cannot be hypocrites, because you will get exposed. And the Most High God will make it to where you get exposed, man.
Can I go one?
Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 1 and 17. It says, learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Mm-hmm. Right? But all that is concerning the doing well. It's all pertaining to the law.
Mm-hmm. It's all pertaining to the law. It's doing well, bro. And the whole reason it's pertaining to the law is because that's what the truth is. I got a lot of hiccups today.
It happens.
Keeping the truth, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is the truth, and we have to be in that mind state. We cannot be hypocrites. We can't just make a show of being righteous. We have to be righteous, because if we don't be righteous, the Most High God is not gonna save us out of here. He's gonna leave us in our captivity and wax worse and worse and worse in our captivity. Mm-hmm. Keep going. What you got, actually?
I was gonna say, just touching on the two great commandments, how Christians love to twist it. Even when you just go back to what they call the Big Ten, what is the Most High actually saying? Worship Him, Him only. That's the start of it. Keep the Shabbat. Then it goes into honoring who? Your mother and your father, that's showing people. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of it is going to, you should not kill, commit adultery, steal, bear false witness against your neighbor, or covet anything like that. That's loving your brother as yourself.
Exactly. Bro.
So bilking the hell out of them when they doing wrong.
That part. So you literally, that's when he said that hangs on the law. Yes, and then when you get further into the law, it expounds on all those points.
Exactly.
So like man, Jake, that's not in the truth. You really breaking the law. Either you hate your brother or you hate the Most High. Which one is it?
It's really both.
It is.
Because you can't have one without another. Without the other.
That part.
Because if you hate the Most High, you hate the High God if you break his commandments, and you hate your brother when you sin against him. So you're doing both of them. You're doing a disservice to your brother and the Most High God.
You still want this?
What's that?
Hebrews 10.
You know, sometimes that'd be a hard thing to do though as well, because sometimes you have to rebuke your family members out of love.
You gotta rebuke your family members, man. They gonna be your first enemies.
Yeah.
Come into the truth. Yeah, they gonna be your first enemies.
Oh yeah, I've had this precept for
Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 3, and verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot.
Oh yeah, that should have been in there. I don't know why I didn't break that down. Go ahead.
I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increaseth with goods and have need of nothing.
And what is that? Being worldly. Where y'all money at? I hate when I'm out on the streets and niggas say, where my money at, nigga? Why you got a fake ass hat on? You got a shirt that you got out of Big Damn Tees, knowing full damn well that stuff is fake, talking about where my money at. When you ain't even real, bro. Our people will be it baffles me, bro. It baffles me that they'll ask us where our money's at, where y'all jobs at. What makes you think we don't have money and jobs?
That part.
What makes you think we don't have money and jobs, bro?
To be honest,
it's madness, bro. It's madness. You don't even be the same niggas who don't got jobs, bro. Jake's a damn hypocrite. The black, Hispanic, and Native American man and woman, especially the woman, is a damn hypocrite, bro. And that's why y'all stay. That's why y'all stay in captivity, because y'all are hypocrites. Because y'all act like y'all worship the Most High God, and y'all really don't. Just like how it says in Jeremiah chapter 3, both kingdoms did it. The north and southern kingdom, Judah and Israel did it, bro. Y'all pretend like y'all worship the Most High God. Y'all wash the outside of that cup, but inwardly y'all are niggas, bro. And you wonder why you get killed. You wonder why you get killed. You deserve it. Cause you signed this pledge with the Most High God. We all signed it. We was all there. We were all there in Israel. Well, I don't want to say Israel. We was all there when we gave the pledge to be like, we're gonna do this. We're those same people in the reanimation. So we're not holding up our end of the bargain. So of course the Most High God isn't gonna save us out of this place, bro. So you wonder why things like this happen. What you got?
I went straight to Jeremiah 3. What
you
talking about? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn now unto me. But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
Yeah.
And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not.
Because we saw what the northern kingdom did. We saw what the northern kingdom did. They fell into idolatry. They started doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. We saw that. It was like, we can do that too. We just make it look like we believe in them. Matter of fact, it's gonna say it. It's gonna say it. Keep going.
But went and played the harlot also.
Yeah.
And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And
idolatry, you would.
And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah had not turned unto me with her whole heart, but frigidly.
Fainly.
But fainly.
But fainly. That's faking. You niggas is faking like y'all believe in the Most High God. Y'all didn't turn to the Most High God with your whole heart. It's just like how they push Christianity on you. That's not turning to the Most High God with your full heart. That's making it look like singing and dancing, and somehow you end up poor in the process. That's not turning to the Most High God with the full heart, bro. That's faking like you're doing it. That's cleaning the outside platter of the cup, but not the inside. It's still dirty. It's full of niggerdom. Keep going.
Saith Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel had justified herself more than treacherous Judah. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return now, backsliding Israel, saith Yahweh. and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Where was that?
What was that?
Titus 1:16.
Titus 1:16. You go back to Psalms 119.
This is Titus 1:16 in the KJV. It says, they profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. It
says the same thing I've been saying this whole time, being a hypocrite. You profess that you know God, but in works you're abominable. You're evil and wicked. That goes for Christians. That goes for some Hebrew Israelites in this truth, bro. Which are really not even in the truth, but who claim that they're in the truth. You can't. Your works have to be equivalent to what you preach, man. And we preach these laws, statutes, and commandments. You can't be unequal. You can't be unequally yoked with them, man. You got to be in this for real. So we ended on this. Go ahead and get that precept again, because this is the most important one.
This is Psalms 119. You want 142?
Yeah.
Verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
The law is the truth, man. And if we're going to take anything from this lesson, we need to realize being in the truth is not changing your name on Facebook. Being in the truth is not just going to every feast day and making the feast day a party. Being in the truth is what? Or is it the everlasting righteousness? Not what?
It's a lot. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
The law is the truth. That's what being in the truth is, man, and nothing else.
I got a quick precept too.
That's it. We've already gone in so many tangents.
I'm about to say this still in Psalms 119.
Well, go ahead.
Psalms 119 and verse 90. Thy faithfulness is unto all generations. Thou hast established the earth, and it abideth. They continue this day according to thy ordinances for all thy servants. Unless thy law had been my delights, I should then have perished in mine affliction. I will never forget thy precepts, for with them thou hast quickened me.
With the what?
For with them thou hast quickened me.
Has made us alive. Just like how Yahushua has made us alive through his death.
You see?
These laws quicken you. Quicken is a term for making you alive, bring you back to life. Because if you wander away from the law, statutes, and commandments, you end up being a part of the congregation of the dead. Damn whited sepulchres, man. Whited graves make it look nice, but you're still dead in the inside. So with that, I want to say, call all Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and say Shalom.
Shalom.
SICARRI.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us.
Shalom, what's going on? It's your brother Chief Priest Alazar Lawyer, aka the Guerrilla Hebrew, and I'm just letting y'all know I just dropped my official clothing line, Urban Guerrilla. Go to urbangorilla.com right now to check us out, man, and pick something up. There's urbngrla.com. We got all kind of items for men, women, children, even infants, as well as fragrance oil, smell goods. You can also check out Hebrew Israelite Clothing Co., another SICARRI business, on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can hit up deaconsicari.com to get your plug on the scarves, the music, and the children's Bibles. Thanks for your time. All praise to the Most High. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.